All right, here we have Pastor Sakwa and his Pastor Ridom. All right, Bermuda, we have just collected a good amount of goods. Tell us what this means to you, Pastor Sakwa. What does this mean to you?
Yeah, we are very much grateful for this, what has happened to us. In fact, reaching out to the poor children of my parents. These are happy God. We are very happy. You servants of God from Bermuda, to having the heart to serve, the heart to reach out to the poor. We are very grateful. We have, in fact, we don't know how we can appreciate this. These are sometimes, these are miracles to us. God bless you so much.
Amen. Yeah. Minister, you want to add something?
We thank God for you. What God sent to us, and God is fulfilling James chapter 1 verse 27. Your religion is taking care of orphans, and taking care of widows. God bless you so much.
This is home, but in a very short while we'll be going to the children's home. Okay. Just next door.
Gotcha.
But this is where we started 2015, 2005 in May. We took in the first child. But before we took in the first child, we had prayed and asked God to guide us, to lead us, to show us the way as to how to serve. We were serving in a home not far from here, about 2 kilometers. That's where my wife grew. She grew up in a children's home. That's where we worked for nearly 20 years. But then we felt that it was time to move on. And as we were seeking God's guidance and help, we felt that the need, or the Lord was saying, care for HIV infected and affected children. As in the case of Jonah in the Bible, we kind of listened and sometimes tried to. The only thing we missed was the fish. That one we missed. Again, as in the case of Moses, he said, it's hard work, and this and the other, everything. But at the end of it all, we felt that yes, we should start a home for HIV infected. Those days, 2005, if you remember, AIDS was not the issue. You look at somebody and they have died. And this is AIDS. You don't want to see them again. Look at them twice. You don't want to associate with them. You don't want to touch them or even come near them because they are afraid may infect. And that's the kind of children we had those days. Quite a number of our children here were declared not to live. Doctors told us, forget. Medically, they cannot live. But God is good. God is gracious. They are here, strong and doing well because of the grace of God. Allow me also say, am I communicating by the way? You understand my English? The name Neema is fresh. And that is a name we thought about, prayed about, because I come from a very humble background. I come from Eastern Kenya, the other side of Nairobi. That's where I grew up. That's where I went for my basic education, secondary education. But then college, I trained as a pastor not far from Nairobi. Maybe about 60 kilometers northwest of Nairobi. That's where I trained, and that's where we met with my wife. She was also in college as a nurse. She is a nurse. My wife is an orphan, total orphan, and because of that, she ended up in Eldoret. This is the home she grew up. The home is not far from here, as I say, and it is called Testimony, Faith Home. A testimony that God is and it is by faith. We've learned a lot from that establishment. That home was started in 1969. The other day we were celebrating our Jubilee at the home. Yes, so my wife, having come from such a background, a total orphan, I, in having a very difficult background, we felt that it is by the grace of God that we are here, and we have some piece of land where we can grow some kitchen garden, maybe cabbage or onion or maybe kale or something. So whatever we get from our farm or garden, we can feed some child who is neglected or abandoned because they are HIV positive. 80% of our children are positive or infected or affected. The 20% are children living or who are living in difficult circumstances. Very difficult. One of them was thrown into a water well, not far from here. Yes, yeah, she was thrown into a water well by an auntie, wife of an uncle. And this wife of an uncle didn't like this young girl. So we assumed that she wanted the girl to die. Anyway, she crashed and her spine, her legs, and so on. But she's in next year she'll be joining Form 4. But it's been a tough, rough, long journey with her. Treatment, erection surgeries. Oh, that's a young lady. Anyway, so we thank God that by grace that we have impacted positively into the lives of some Kenyans who were otherwise, we think, that they may, if they were to be alive, to be in very difficult circumstances. Now we have 52 children that at the moment, those who are here now are 35, because the government, as you may know, is encouraging a program they are calling reintegration. They want us to reintegrate the children, as many as possible. So our social worker is always on the run, trying to see who can either, if they have a relative, we must also make sure that these children are safe.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that it's an uncle or cousin or brother or what, they are safe at the home. We make sure that before we release them to whoever, the environment is conducive for the child. So our social worker is busy doing that. So quite a number of them, maybe 11 or 15, are with their relatives, but in January they'll be back here. One of them actually left yesterday. I wished he would be here. Yeah, so that's what we are doing. The government for some years has not registered children's homes or re-registered. There before they used to give a certificate. You are registered, you are registered. But some years back they said, no, it is renewable every 3 years. So ours expired 2017. But they have all the documents from us for renewal of registration. They know we are here. They have said continue. They keep giving us children. They gave us a child 3 weeks ago. So they know we are here. We keep telling them, we are not registered. Close us. No. Where will we take the children? Yeah, so in a nutshell, that's what is happening. Later on, I'll be giving you some brochures so you can go and read one or two things about the home. Now, I have one or two questions for you. Please. One, how long do you have so that you know how to apportion our time?
12:30. Is it a little late?
What's the time?
Because by 2 should be rolling down. By 2 should be rolling down.
We need to go back for lunch.
We need to be back at the
So it's
hotel.
at 10, I don't know, like 10:30 to 12:30.
Yeah.
So we're talking about an hour.
Just over an hour here.
So how long does it take for us to get from here to the hotel?
It's like 20 minutes, 10, 15 minutes.
Sorry, I didn't say that 45 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's not far.
Yeah, well, 40.
When you
45 minutes to an hour.
Yes. Come in, you take us 10 minutes.
Yes, 10 or less.
Less than 10 minutes.
It's about an hour, yeah.
About
1 hour.
an hour here. Okay, we want you to meet the children who are here. We will have 10 o'clock tea with them, if that's okay.
Yes.
Please. Is it your first time in Kenya?
No, this is
4.
our fourth time, third time. But the first time we are in Eldoret.
My wife and I are very humbled that we could use a children's home and Neema Children's Home for that matter. We are humbled and thank you so much. And we hope that you learn one or two things about the children in Kenya. Well, we know poverty is a major issue in Kenya. Parents may be willing, but the economics of dictate otherwise. There are other problems, sickness, family violence. Yeah, so there's a lot to learn. Hoping that by the time 1 hour is over, we'll have learned something.
Already.
You already
Certainly coming from the other side of the world, Bermuda, a very small place. Yet God has blessed us where we're able to reach out of our smallness and help a large place. And children, I think, is a very, very much the focus of our ministry at home. And so it's my heart's desire that we not only bless children in Bermuda, but outside of Bermuda, and that when God sees us doing missionary work outside, He knows that He can trust us to bless us at home. And so to be in a relationship with Pastor Sakwa, and for him to decide which home, we're blessed. Thank you for welcoming us and for sharing these background emphasis of how you were blessed to begin this home. And thank you. Thank you for being God's hands extended. I have great admiration for those that rescue the perishing. Jesus told us in His Word that except we come as a little child. And so when you see that children are abandoned, ignored, and yet people such as yourselves, God stirs, even if it's got to be a journal moment. He stirs you and you come and you come alongside. And by God's grace, sustain their lives cause them to excel. And we're in, otherwise than that, they might have perished or had a much lower existence. So we thank God, heaven records all of this, and we're blessed to be a part of it.
Amen.
Yep.
Just to, maybe you can say something that, very brief. Maybe you can say the AIDS, HIV infection part of it, according to us here.
Well, thank you very much for visiting us, and we are humbled that you choose to come and visit us. I don't know how much you had talked, he says you had talked a lot, but when God touched our hearts to start such a ministry, we had worked in another institution for 19 years. Testimony Playgrounds is the home that opened their door and their hearts to receive me when my parents died. And they brought me up, they educated me, and after that I went on my nurses training in a big place institution in Kijabe, about 45 minutes from Nairobi, and that's where we met with Joshua, and we got married and we served. I served there because I had to pay off. They had paid a lot of money for my training, and so I had to serve again. So he joined me and was working in the Bible college where he studied, and our firstborn son was born there, Mark. And then the parents that brought me up at Testimony Faith Homes, they needed somebody because somebody had moved from one of the children's homes, and they reached out to us in Kijabe and asked, please, would you come and help us? Meanwhile, the Lord had been talking to us about serving with children, so we moved from Kijabe and came to Testimony Faith Homes, which is not very far from here. And we served in Testimony Faith Homes for 19 years. That was like homecoming for me. That's where I grew up. This is the home that loved me so much and gave me so much that I wanted to give out to somebody. And so we served there for 19 years with children, vulnerable children, destitute children, orphans, but we didn't have HIV because that was not the nature of Testimony Faith Homes. So whilst we were there, the Lord spoke to us. He wanted us to do more for Him. And this is the time when the era, you would say era of HIV was really paramount, and people feared HIV. We lost so many people with HIV and AIDS in Kenya. So the Lord challenged us, what would you do for me? And I felt with my nurses training, I could help someone. So we prayed and asked the Lord what He wanted us to do, and He definitely assured us in our hearts that He wanted us to move out and take on a bigger responsibility for caring for orphans who are HIV infected and affected. So HIV and infected and affected, meaning that their parents died of HIV. They may not be infected in that they are living with the disease. It has been given to them through their parents, or otherwise in careless hospitals through needle prick. So we came here and we started small beginnings. The Lord desires those small beginnings. We didn't have money because when we served in Testimony Faith Homes, we were not salaried, so we didn't get any income. So the Lord was moving us and telling us, go and I will be with you. So we came here, we had nothing, but we had God and we had our hearts. And the Lord brought the first children infected, affected. So we had children who had the disease living with HIV that they inherited from their parents, and we had children who didn't necessarily have the infection, but their parents died of AIDS, and so their relatives didn't want to care for them because they feared they had the disease. There was a lot of fear about HIV. So we came here and the Lord brought the children through the children's office. We wanted to do it right, so we wrote a proposal and we were called for an interview. I already had a child here with me who was also affected, and he went for the interview and he was grilled, where will you bury these children when they die, because they will certainly die, and where will you get the money to feed these children if you didn't have the money? And he told them the Lord will provide. And this has been, we have stood on that promise that the Lord will provide. And He has provided. Sometimes it has been very difficult. Waiting on God, not knowing where our help will come from, but knowing it will come from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. And we have workers here. They are expecting their salary, but you're here waiting on the Lord. I can tell you, waiting is difficult, but the Lord has always come. He has never failed us. So we came here and He started, and the Lord brought the children, and they kept on coming. And some of them were very sick, and for sure we was asked, where will you bury them? We have buried some, but we have buried them in dignity, because they have been loved and they've been cared for. And so when we have had to do it, we have not had to fear, because we have already loved them. We have gone home feeling that somebody has cared for them. And we have embraced them. You will never know, even now when you walk there, you'll never know which one is living with the disease, with the virus. They are all very healthy and happy and not neglected. And there are amongst some of them who had the virus, but the Lord healed them. They are 12. And we have others who came because they were affected, their parents died of the disease. And we are all living together, caring for one another, loving one another. And the Lord has protected us, and we believe that the Lord has even touched those who were definitely with the virus, because nobody has been reinfected, nobody has been infected from that group. And because we were told, we were warned by the medics, I am a medic, that we are sorry these children may not grow to a certain height, or we have seen them even passing.
They are tall,
They are tall, healthy looking, happy. We give God all the glory, and He has continued to help us. It has not been smooth, sometimes it has been very difficult, but we have always gone back to the Lord. Yes, our Lord. He has never forgotten us. So today I have testimony that He's a good God. You can rely on Him, and all the time you can be sure that He will be there. He may not promise the best, but you will always get your need met. Our need has been met by God. We are looking for Him to do big things, and we continue to serve Him as we look to Him. And we are happy for the children that He has brought to us. Those who have gone, they have gone knowing that they are loved by us. We are their parents. They are loved by God, and they are not the rejects. Despite of what they go through, God loves them. So we are teaching them to love themselves too, to forgive, because sometimes you can have a pain and want to revenge, to forgive and to know that the Lord has given them life. And we have seen them, you'll see them, you'll enjoy them. I enjoy them, I love them. I love them, they call me mommy. I never taught them to call me mommy. I brought them up with their own children, and my children, just like in a normal family, taught them, this is dad, this is mom. So we're mommy, I'm daddy, this is daddy, I'm mom. And we love them. And we feel this love. We were in this house. We started when this house was quite small. And this is their home. So the Lord provided and we built a house there for them. But they know this is their home. They were here last night. We had a birthday party here. Everybody was born. Every child has a birthday. Every child has to have a special birthday and a cake like any other home they have. So we were here celebrating 2 of them who had birthdays, and everyone was happy. So we come in here. They have some of their toys there. They have some of their toys here. I keep the games here because they destroy sometimes. Because I couldn't move there. They're children like any other children. So they come here and we play games with them. We play Ludo. You know Ludo? Yes. We play Monopoly. We play Scrabble. We play Risk. And things like that. We keep playing. There are other games. The jigsaw puzzles. So if you come into our house, especially during holidays, because the teachers are on holiday, we have our own children. And during the school days on weekends, our children are here with us. We play and we teach them how to live with one another. We come from all tribes of Kenya, so we know no tribe. And amongst them, some people come and ask, how many relatives of yours are here? Because this is the norm of Kenya. I have no relative whatsoever in them. But I have the special relationship with these children because of Jesus Christ. So they come from different tribes and we love them equally the same. Yeah. We try to be as normal a family as possible. And that's what you'll find. I'm not ashamed when I send somebody to go and interact with them and play with them and talk with them. They are normal. They are doing very well in school. So I don't know what else I can say, but to say thank you, Lord.
Amen. Glory to God.
Feel free to ask just before we go there if you have the 1 hour. But thank you for that. What something else?
Are you going to have breakfast there? Are you going to take me back because I have responsibilities?
Okay. What we'll do is I'll take them down there and then come and drop you.
Okay.
As we enjoy the week.
Okay.
You will not enjoy the
It's okay. My babies are there. Some of them came to us as babies, some of them as what? 1 day old? Yeah.
Weeks old,
Months
old.
Months old. Others maybe years. So they came differently.
Yeah.
Different ages, different weight. The lowest being 1 kilogram, no 2 actually, 1 kilogram.
1 kilogram.
Now they are
1 kg.
very small.
Very small.
My mother-in-law came to visit us, and one of them came, so I gave her. She's she was so frantic, she didn't want to hold. But now they have grown and they're big and beautiful. One of the ladies from America, a friend of ours, she came here and she saw Moses when he came to us, and I thought he was the ugliest baby I had seen. Now she said, oh, he's the most handsome. Because God because of God.
Yes.
So
Actually, it looks like something, not a child. You look at him and you wonder, what is it? Well, God is good.
he's now all beautiful. He's one of the boys who opened the gate.
Open the
Yeah, the one who opens the gate.
Okay, I got a picture.
Very, very handsome.
Oh,
Yeah, so something else.
Was 1 kg old, 1 kg
wow. Big
weight.
One of the things I want to say before we go down there is Neema, his home, lives or exists on the promise of God that He will hear and answer prayer. Not because we are special, not because we know to pray, but because God is God. The Father of all things. Ours is to take care of them, and because He's their Father, then He'll take care of them. We don't have sponsors. How it happened, we just feel that it's good to trust in God. Whoever feels God has spoken to you from Bermuda.
Bermuda. You know when I saw
is it
that
Bermuda or
No,
Bermuda?
you said it right. Bermuda.
Bermuda, that's
Look
right.
at that.
Bermuda.
Let's see that. Bermuda.
Yeah.
We have friends, we met them in the UK, and they come from there, but they migrated from here, there, and lived in the UK. That's Cedric and Sarah. Yes.
Yeah, so we.
Sounds like Bermuda.
Cedric went to be with the Lord.
And so we have friends, like God speaks to His children, His servants, in this country, in our neighborhood, in Australia, in America, in wherever, in England, at His own time to whoever. So when God speaks to you now, last week we had a friend of ours, who brought us kale for 2 days, I think. We thank God. Another
Cabbage.
Cabbage. Something else.
Pumpkin.
And pumpkin. There's a friend, a neighbor, the other day, a while ago, brought us tomatoes. And that time we were praying for tomatoes. We pray for anything and everything, however small or big. So I'm saying God speaks to people God has spoken to you from Bermuda to come and bless these children. We thank God for you. So I will give you brochures later so that you can go with them. But for now, unless you have a question, we can be there with the children maybe 30-40 minutes. You will allow me, I'll take you there, then I take my wife for the meeting, which is the only 10 minutes. The church is near here. As you maybe interact with the children, and then I'll be back with you before you go. Just in case you have a question.
I think the one question I have is, and first of all, you're humbled, I'm humbled sitting here, I'm sure you are, with what God is doing with you, and God bless you. You were saying that, my question is, do you follow up once the child has left and found a permanent home? Do you follow up with them after that to make sure that of their progress?
Yes, we do follow up. We are interested in the welfare of these children. So far, 2 have left kind of on a permanent basis, but occasionally, two of them are doing business. They chose not to go for training. They opted to do business. But occasionally they say, oh, we don't have 200 shillings, please, will you, So we are interested. One, that is the third, who has left, but still under our care because she's in college. So we'll take her through college here in town, in Andover, until she will be able to stand on her own. Those who've been adopted or fostered, we follow up, we make phone calls, because they are fostered or adopted through the Adoption Society of Kenya. So it is a government
policy.
Yes, so it's not as we give the adoption center or agent the names, and then they match the child. So through the adoption center or agent, we are able to follow up. Yeah. Right. So unless we have another question, we'll take it now. That's where we'll take the 10 o'clock. Blue TV. Yes.
Shangwe,